Welcome back to the 12 Talk podcast. My name's Josh, and with me, as always, my podcasting partner in crime, Mitch. We are going to be talking all about that last preseason game, Green Bay Packers, and how they packed it in. And we didn't even begin till the second half. There you go. See, song lyrics in there again. We're going to be having a chat about Jalen Milroe, what that game meant for him. We're going to also be looking at our 53-man roster before the cuts start happening. And then we've got our Discord member musings. We also have your questions. So pop them in the chat. If you want us to discuss any of your questions, by all means, pop them in there and we will get to them right at the end of the show. But before we go any further, let's hit the theme tune. And we're back. There you go. So thanks for everyone that's joining. We're at a nice number of 12 there to start with. It's a difficult one, this, because pre-season we keep saying it. Meh, not that bothered. But the first half of that game...
Not me.
No.
Not me. We've done this 2 pods in a row. I love the pre-season.
Okay. Well, Mitch is bothered. But yeah, I mean, we'll be breaking that down. There was a few people that will be watching this that were joined us for a watch party in our Discord. So thank you so much for that. It was an awesome time. Really got to chop it up with you guys. And yeah, Mitch, how's everything going?
It's pretty good at the minute. Yeah, everything's coming up rosy, my end. But yeah, not the Green Bay Packers game. But then I think you need to look at that through the right lens, and I think we'll probably get to that today. Mm-hmm. Try and shine the right kind of light on it, and try and pick the bones out of what we actually did learn. But yeah, no, it's been a really good week for me since we last podded, and looking forward to getting stuck into this one.
Good. Yeah. Well, for me, it's new season, new baseball cap. Rocking this one. Very disappointed with Fanatics because the people who create their caps cannot glue something straight. So I'll look straight down the barrel of the gun there, and that is going to annoy everyone else as much as it annoys me now.
It's not even a little bit off centre either.
It's not. It's massively, isn't it? Like, there's going to be a strongly worded email sent to them. Yeah, but shall we start talking about this game?
Sure. Green
Bay Packer Punch. And before we get into it, I just want to say a massive thank you to our show sponsor, to Flying V Sports Vintage. There you go. Mitch rocking one of their Hades Flying V shirts there. Mine is still to be ordered. I keep forgetting. But they've got a plethora of Seattle-based US sports gear. If you want to try them out, by all means, the link for them is down below in the pod description. They've got jerseys, they've got everything coming up as well. And to make it even better, if you wanted to try them, by all means, use code 12TALK and you'll get 20% off your order. Can't say fairer than that, can you, mate? Just to make it a bit clearer. There you go. Use code 12TALK. And for anyone who's joining us as well, thank you so much for joining us this early. Please feel free to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. That really helps us. And it also means every time we go live, you'll be informed as well. Bosh. And finally, for those who aren't, join our Discord. Mitch will pop the link in the comments. You can come and join us in 12s from all over the world. We can talk about Seahawks. We will be doing live stream watch parties where we can talk about everything throughout the game as well. But Mitch,
yes,
shall we get on to this?
Let's do it.
Now, 20 points to 7, and this was a game of two halves. 100%, wasn't it? I mean, that first half, you didn't know what was going to happen. I mean, my notes on that first half are extensive.
Mine are non-existent because I was too busy just not looking directly at the car crash.
Yeah,
but
I think the first thing we need to talk about is Tyre Carter's interception on the first drive by Green Bay. That Superman-esque dive to get that. Now, if that doesn't tell you that he is well and truly putting his hand up to be in the mix, I don't know what is.
Safety room's packed though, isn't it? Like, how do you squeeze I mean, maybe you could squeeze one player in there, but he wouldn't have been the player at the beginning of the offseason that I thought would be making the cut. No. So does that catch put him right? I mean, it's hard to forget the moment, right? It's a memorable one. If you want to showcase your skills, that was a memorable way to do it. But I don't know.
Yeah, it's one of those where I say that we're obviously going to look to our winners and losers that we go through with every single game, but every pre-season he seems to just do something and really put his hand up. And I think every time he plays in the regular season, he's just reliable. And I want to see him on this 53-man roster, but I'm not in charge of said roster. And like you said, that safety room is packed at the moment. And I don't know where you can squeeze him in. That's the worst thing for me. I mean, you've got the multiple. I'll go through my notes. Milroe sack fumble. I mean, again, he features heavily in our winners and losers segment, and there is a reason for that. I think, all in all, I felt a bit bad for Jalen Milroe. I'll go into it in depth in a bit, but yeah, it just didn't seem to be his day. I mean, you look at that sack fumble, the pressure came from all angles, didn't it? When you look at the replay, the pocket truly collapsed from the left, the right, and then it came straight through the center at him, and there was no way he could go.
But let's be honest. You know, the play callers on the night were not the usual play callers. Okay, it wasn't Mike McDonald or Aidan Dirty. It wasn't Kubiak either. It was other coaches were calling the plays. There's a lack of familiarity there. There's a lack of familiarity with the O-line and the receivers he's throwing to. There's a lack of familiarity all across the board. He's under pressure with every throw he makes, and he's thrown to unfamiliar targets. And for the large part of the first half, the third or fourth stringers, our end, were playing against second string players on their side. So I know I don't really like to make that comparison during preseason because it is what it is and it hasn't changed. But those are the conditions that he was playing in for 4 quarters of the game. And you saw in the second half, when it was more of an even playing field in terms of level of talent and experience, he could mix it. The big red flag is ball security when under pressure. The big green flag you're going to talk about when you go through your winners and losers, so I won't go over it now. I'll leave that for you to slam dunk. But it wasn't all bad with the context of what it was in terms of exposing inexperienced players at NFL level to 4 quarters of football on the final preseason game ahead of cuts. They got that. They got some great tape to eliminate some players from the roster. And they got some great tape to consider to argue the case for people to make the roster. That's all it was. That is what we got. And the result was secondary to that. And the entertainment factor was secondary to that, because I'll be honest, wasn't the greatest game. And my new partner was watching it with me on the night, and I had to keep sort of saying, you know, these aren't the guys. These, you know, watch us in 2 weeks.
This is how we play all the time.
The same. Yeah, this isn't the usual Seahawks. Yeah, so I've been frantically showing Ken Walker the third highlights and JSN highlights and Cooper Cup today. We've been sat there like, this is what real wide receivers look like. This is what a real running back looks like. Marshawn Lynch comes out and, you know, show us some beastquake. So yeah, it was one of those where you kind of have to take a huge pinch of salt, know the lens you need to be looking at the game through and ignore the result, really. So
yeah, 100%. I mean, on the plus side, I think, I don't know if anyone else agrees. By all means, people can put it in the chat. I think the run D actually looked all right, even with these sort of third stringers, bubble sort of candidates. I thought the run D did all right. There was a few big sort of break off runs, but apart from that, I think we subdued them quite well, which really gives me a lot of hope for the season when we have the starters in. Because if that's how our third choice and backups are playing, imagine when we get sort of Tank Lawrence in there, when we get your big cats, you know, Jaron Reed, Byron Murphy, that's going to look outstanding. So,
but is it not predictable to you that the D line, the defensive line group and the safety group, which we already acknowledge are quite competitive spots on this roster, looked good all the way down the depth chart, but the areas that did not look good on the depth chart were linebacker and perimeter corner, you know, and on offense, you know, predictably, there's a few wide receivers in there that are capable of a big moment, but generally speaking, couldn't get open, you know, quick enough for Milroe to connect a pass. So I think the rooms that we would have said were the most competitive, even the running back room again is similar. There's enough depth there, a high quality depth, that they looked good on the night. The rooms that we know are thin for starting players, boy did they look lacking on the night. So pretty.
I mean, I know you're going to talk about your boy in as one of your winners, but massive highlight: 61-yard run by Jacardia Wright.
Yeah,
just ran out of gas at the end.
He's built for this. When you look at him, he's built for it. So, you know, sometimes you look at a player and you think they have all the physical gifts to be unbelievable. Why are they not? Is it a mental thing? Is it an attitude thing? Is it are they the last person to the training ground, first person off the training ground? You know, what is it that is stopping this perfect specimen? You know, they're the right height, they're the right weight, they're twitchy, they're quick, they've got all the things. Why are they not good? Well, Jacardia Wright is the mold. He is the absolute mold for what you want. And sure enough, when given the chance and given snaps, he's shown quality.
He totes that rock.
Yeah, I don't think he makes it to the practice squad if we cut him. I don't think we can get him back for the practice squad. I think he'll go to someone. And I know we say that too much and it doesn't happen. You know, all the players we think will get snapped up because we're massive homers. You know, as soon as they get cut, oh look, they're all back. Haven't we done well? Well, actually, the league doesn't rate us, and you know, if they just because the Seahawks fans like the player doesn't mean that the rest of the league does. Well, Jacardia Wright genuinely, if cut, has huge upside for anyone that is light. Yeah, genuinely, that's the embarrassment.
Well in that shot window.
That's the embarrassment of riches we've got at running back this year. A player like that could get cut in the hope to make it the practice squad, and we'll just go and be RB3 somewhere else. Yeah,
which is a sad state of affairs. I mean, you also look. I mean, there was just one shout out that I need to give J.R. Singleton. I mean, Dan Vienne's picked this up as well as I was following X, and he was everywhere. I mean, just his stats from the night. Where were we here? So 4 total tackles. We had 3 solo. He had 1 sack and 2 tackles for loss and a QB hit. And he's come out of nowhere. So I just want to give him a really quick one. I think for me, the big things from this second quarter, we tried a designed run for Milroe out of the shotgun and ended up getting tackled behind the line. But again, that's a lack of protection. I think when you have starters in there, that'd be completely different, especially with the tight end room that we'll get onto when we do our 53-man roster. And the most crushing thing for me, which nearly had me put him in our losers column, Jake Bobo going down because he got hit by Tyler Hall's knee as Tyler Hall was just driven back by the Green Bay gunner. And that could have been a horrific injury for him, but he's so lucky to have come away with just a concussion. So he starts with concussion protocol now and be back hopefully for the season. But then it's a matter of do we start him on pup or what.
Well, we'll see. I think it's lucky that we've got that week. You know, you always get that week for roster adjustments before the season starts. It's not pre-season and then first game week the week after. So he's got essentially 2 weeks to recover. But he's not a starting player necessarily. I know he's heavily features without touching the ball, but there's time for him to come back. I'd maybe miss the Niners game, but without missing significant time, which is incredibly lucky considering how nasty it looked at the time. Quite chuffed about that.
It did look nasty. I mean, it's a shame because he has been all throughout preseason key contributor. I mean, 2 touchdowns. You look at the blocks he puts in for the receivers, for the running backs, trying a punt returner just to show his added value on special teams. But I think, that was incredibly unlucky. And then halftime happened after going. Was it 20-0? Because it was. It just seemed to be a load of kicks, which for me, a fair play. If you've got a kicker of that caliber like Green Bay have, let him kick. But it's pre-season. Put it all out there. Go for it on 4th like we did. Don't just go. We'll take it 3. We'll take it 3.
It is weird to me that you'd send, like, if you had a guy on the roster that was a backup kicker, or you've just drafted one, and fair enough, let him kick. I don't see the point in sending out kickers to make 50-yard kicks for 3 points when you could practice going for it on 4th down. 4th down and 1, 4th down and 2. Okay, right, in this situation, game week 1, we're going to be running this play if we're desperate. Shit, get them all out there. Just let's go practice it. No idea why teams value kicking.
Brandon McManus. I mean, they know he's a quality kicker. He was with the Broncos before, wasn't he? And I just it baffled me. It seemed to me like Matt LaFleur had gone, you know what? Throughout our joint practice, you probably had the better of us. So in this game, we're just going to rub your faces in the dirt. But then we went in at half time, and they did score a point on us in the second half, which was so nice to see. I mean, my main notes, and I'll talk about him more. Jared Ivey, with the sack. I'll try and keep the language to a minimum. Special teams, crap again.
Yeah,
just it's a constant now, and it's becoming a worry.
I think we've relied a little bit on contributions on special teams from first string, second string players for a little while. There's been quite a few players that provide a bit of juice on special teams, whether it's our tight ends or whether it's Leonard Williams blocking field goals and stuff. There's a bunch of starters that are just not out there when it's preseason, and it means that you've got an awful lot of players out there that wouldn't necessarily be involved in special teams. So that's the only caveat to what you're saying. I do think Jay Harbaugh has failed to address ongoing problems. We had an ongoing problem that should have been nipped in the bud last year, around the 3rd or 4th week, that seemed to just be the biggest joke going all the way through the year with our return game. So we know he's not necessarily the quickest to formulate a plan and put it in action, or he's very stubborn, one of the two.
It's a Nepo hire. I'm sorry. I said it in the last pod. It's just a straightforward Nepo hire, and he hasn't adjusted anything. Pete Carroll always said, there's 3 sides of the ball: offense, defense, special teams, and we need to focus on those special teams just to at least give ourselves a chance with a kick return, that may put us in scoring field position, or having gunners that can actually get to a punt or a kick returner, as opposed to someone who's constantly battling to get past any type of defender. And it's a worry for me. I'm sincerely hoping that it is rectified. So for quarter 3, Jamie Sheriff just shows up pre-season, And then we get to the fourth, and Cody White. It becomes a Cody White show. You know,
Seen it before.
Yeah, and again, preseason monster. He's in camp all the time. He's perennial practice squad. He strikes me. He's like that Tyler Maybury, who basically had an apartment at the VMAC because he was just on practice squad all the time. Got pulled up a couple of times, scored a touchdown. Was it last season or the season before? And then went straight back down to practice squad. But every single year he does something. And this preseason, that the drive started with him and it ended with him. He just seemed to have a really good chemistry with Jalen Milroe and found himself open at the right times for him.
Yeah, I think he's good. He's good enough for wide receiver 4 in this league. He's consistent. There's enough things that he does well enough for him to be of value. But when it comes to preseason and he gets that extra bit of exposure, it just reminds you of how rounded his skill set is. He may not be elite at any one thing that will make him stand out at the NFL level, but when you get to preseason and he's playing against second string, third string players, he's good. He's good enough to win you a game of football. So yeah, he's a developmental piece, isn't he? And needless to say, if you've got an injury and you see Cody White called up to a game day squad, you're going to find some comfort in that, as long as it's not replacing your wide receiver 1 for any period of time. But he's good enough, and he's been on the squad long enough for the fans to really have a place for him in their hearts. So good on Cody White.
Agreed. You know, one person that I sung the praises of in our first winners and losers in this preseason was Tyreek Smith. Now, I have one note of Tyreek Smith, which is Tyreek Smith is Darrell Taylor 2.0. He's all bend and speed, but no bull rush at all. There were moments where he was rushing and he just got stood up by a defensive tackle, and he sort of pushed and gave it his all, then just was like, "Oh, I've lost this rep," and that happened so often. And I think he's unfortunately not. He's not going to make this. If anything, may try and keep him on the practice squad, but I don't think he's shown enough. He had that one good game, and then after that, he just seems to have bottomed out a little bit.
Yeah, I think it is the making of an edge rusher when they have that engine and desire, not just the engine to down after down just keep scrapping to beat their man. It's also the sort of tenacity to throw one move and then a counter move and sequence things, see how it goes. How did they react to that first move? Which move would be the best second move? You start to work out that your opponent, snap after snap. If a bull rush doesn't work and it's not your strong point, go to your strong point. How did they counter that? Okay, that's how they did it. So what can I do? How can I counter that? I'll make it look like I'm doing that, and then I'll switch inside, and it'll be a swim move, or you need something about you in terms of being a competitor, to find a way to just make life difficult. If you keep trying the same thing and it's getting no results, like you're not going to make
definition of insanity, isn't it? Trying the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result, but it's never going to happen. And
Jared Ivey's the perfect example. Jared Ivey doesn't have those physical gifts that Tyreek Smith has, but in the absence of it, he's had to build a full repertoire of pass rush moves and gain the savvy of how to use them, how to sequence them, what kind of offensive tackle or guard am I against this game, what usually beats them. Okay, well, I've got that because I do it every week. If you've relied upon athleticism all the way through college because you're gifted, you don't have to learn all of the technique and get all that savvy together. Ivey's got all of it and none of the athleticism. Tyreek Smith's got all the athleticism and none of the pass rush savvy. So that shows up in a big way. And you need to be coachable. Darrell Taylor wasn't coachable.
Yeah.
So
that's evidenced by what he's on his third team now. isn't he, in 3 years?
Still doing nothing.
Yeah, still doing naffle. So that's going to bring us nicely to just to recap. In fact, first, I really want to say second half defensively, really impressed.
Yeah,
we shut them out in the
them
second half,
Yeah.
And if there was possibly better play calling or better O-line play, Milroe might have been able to do more. But all in all, last game of pre-season, we saw what we saw. We get to talk about who we think's going to be on the roster or not, and we'll do that towards the end of the pod. But before we do that, we've got our winners and losers segment, and our winners and losers segment is going to be brought to you by the Robbing Cancer Trust. Now, we are very, very fortunate and very, very proud to be supporting the Robbing Cancer Trust. They are the UK's premier germ cell cancer charity. That's testicular ovarian cancer. If you're in the UK or you're in Essex, you can join them for their Pants to Cancer walk on the 21st of September at Clacton. It's from 10 till 4, 7 or 14 miles, take your pick, £10 per adult, £5 for under 18s. You get to walk along in your pants and you get to raise money and awareness for a really good cause. And Toby is still doing his big ballsy run. I've not updated this yet, but I guarantee that's probably nearly 700k that he's run now, which is still ridiculous. Or you could support them by getting one of their t-shirts, which I know Mitch is now the proud wearer of.
Not tonight, but next
Not
time.
tonight. Next time we'll coordinate. But yeah,
we're going to smash when we smash the 49ers game week 1. I'm going to come on here wearing red, and it'll be a Robbing Cancer Trust shirt. How about that?
I can wear red, and then I can wear my my Seahawks Hawaiian Pro Bowl hat, which is 49ers colours, just to rub it in a little bit more. But shall we talk winners and losers?
Yeah, let's do that.
So for those of you that are joining us, thank you very much. If it's your first time joining us, we really do appreciate it. Your support means everything to us. Like I said, we are the UK Seahawks official podcast, and we try and come to you every single week with updated content about your Seahawks and game reviews. Feel free to hit like on this video. That really helps the algorithm. Subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell as well, whichever way it points to on here. Yeah, easy for you. And then you can stay up to date on any of the new shows coming up. You can also join our Discord to talk to everyone. It's completely free, and the link is either down below or Mitch will pop it in the comments. So, winners and losers. Mitch and I picked 3 winners each, and then we have 3 losers for the game. Who went first last week? Mitch, was it you or me?
I can't remember.
Oh, either way, I'll let you go first. Typical English gent. There you go. After you, sir.
Yeah. Non-typical English gent, right here. Except for kindly accepting your generosity. Jacardia Wright, number 1, on my winners column. I just think he's had a picture-perfect off-season. Everything he's been given as an opportunity, he has showcased. Just how diverse he is, how explosive he can be, how capable he is, towing the line as an RB4 on a roster if we choose to have 4. I genuinely think he's outperformed Damian Martinez in every way, and he could well be RB4 behind Halani on this roster.
I like that. Can't wait to get to our 53-man roster breakdown. Also, a very quick shout out whilst we're here to Bryce Coots, formerly of the Hawks on Rundown, now of the Hawks Eye. If you've not subscribed, go over to his channel, the Hawks Eye with Bryce Coots. Give it a sub. We'll be talking to Bryce hopefully very soon with some Seahawks content and to talk to you all about the channel. He can't wait to hear our thoughts on the 53-man roster and what it could look like. So stay tuned till the end and we'll be getting to that. My first winner, this one goes in both columns, but we'll get to the other column, is Jalen Milroe. Jalen Milroe, behind that O-line, was unwavering. The picture that I nearly put on the graphic to this was just him lying basically on his back like a plank, just being sacked. And even with all that, he led this team from the front. He had there were some wayward passes. There were some decisions I didn't go right. He didn't get through all of his reads all the time. But again, that's due to a lot of the pressure he was facing. But every time, and I put this on our X, every time I hear him talk, I just get more and more of a sense that he is going to be a fantastic starting QB in this league. Because much like Russ, without the very annoying everything, let's face it.
Don't need to specify anything. The whole
no, I was going to give one example, but then there were far too many for my brain to compute. He just has that unwavering persistence, and he really looks up to the rest of his team, but he also boosts them as well. He's a confident quarterback who knows what he can do, but he's not afraid to work on what he can't, which is fantastic. He is going to be part of this 53-man roster without question, and he will just be developing for the next year or two. So that's my first winner. Mitch, your second winner?
Also, Jalen Milroe. I'm gonna just do that here while we're talking Milroe. I had him in winners column, and I've got him in the winners column for pretty much the same reason that you do. I just think on a night where you've fumbled 3 times, you've been playing behind a third string offensive line that hasn't really given you the lanes for your running back. It hasn't given you much time to throw. You've been exposed. You've fumbled the ball. You haven't been able to put your best show on, out there, which would have been frustrating because he would have come into this thinking, "I'm getting 4 quarters of football. This is my time. The spotlight's on me. I can showcase how much I've improved." Well, come game time, you're throwing to wide receiver 5, 6, 7, and bubble, candidates. The running backs can't get a running game going in the first half because the offensive line can't help them out, and you're getting pressured on every single thing you do. So the biggest test and the biggest test he passed, in my opinion, on the night was to not let his head drop, to stay consistent with his enthusiasm and his confidence in his own ability, and just next play mentality all the time. Okay, that wasn't great. Next opportunity, recenter, go again. That, when coupled with some improvement on some of his decision making, on some of his ball security, playing behind actual starting O-line, look at him again in 6-7 months' time, he'll be a different player if he keeps up that confidence in himself.
I think, as we know, Bryce in the comments, I think he had a conversation on X where he put it really well. The flashes of brilliance in the outstanding plays that Milroe has in his locker is exactly what we saw. We saw him escaping pressure. We saw some of those passes on the run, but it was some of the easy things that he's going to have to really refine as an NFL QB. But I'm not down with anyone who goes, oh, hang on, what's that? So Stuart, appreciate a non-emotional reaction to Milroe's performance. He needs work, but we knew that. I thought he showed promise on many plays. Take away the fumbles and everything's okay. Agree, 100%. And this is the thing, I'm not going to get emotional as people have over X, because Seahawks Twitter is toxic most of the time, where they go, oh, it's a draft bust, rah, rah, rah. He's definitely not at all. I think it's just one of those, be patient. He's not the finished article yet. And I said it on the last pod, I don't want us to do what the Colts have done with someone like Anthony Richardson, who has raw potential, thrust him into the starting berth, and he has just been ruined by them now. We've got the time and we've got the resources to let him sit for a year or two.
Mm-hmm.
So
there's big checks in some big important boxes. The running, the way he runs the ball is superb. Huge check mark right there. The arm talent is there, on the deep ball. That's a huge check. And now you can put a big check mark in against his mentality, and his confidence in his own ability. That is enormous. So the things that he needs to now add to his game are super coachable things. If you have the time to do it, well, we have the time. So It's now down to how coachable he is, how dedicated he is, how he applies himself, how he keeps his head right. Because he came into this league as a starting quarterback at Alabama. Now he's a third string quarterback in Seattle.
Yeah.
Deal with that in your head. Stay coachable. Work hard. You can make it. 100%.
Yeah, I mean, we've had some awesome comments actually come in. So do you want to put these on quickly, Mitch, before we move on to our next ones?
Sure. You want me to chuck them up? Yeah, the ones I've started.
Well, we can start with Jonas's one.
This one?
Yeah. Jonas, Guten Tag, mein Freund, one of our German Seahawker friends, also a member of Discord, and he's also a guest host for us as well. To be honest, Milroe's post-game press conference sounds a bit like Russ. He seems very rehearsed, but otherwise, he's just such a good talent. He is, and I think that nature where it sounds rehearsed comes in your confidence as well. And I think that's one of the big things for him. He knows what to say. He's obviously got media coaching. I think he's just a fantastic talent, and he's so level-headed. Let's have a look. Go on, Mitch.
I think as well, with him sounding a little bit rehearsed, I think the narrative he's spinning in his press conferences now is the exact narrative he was having to spin during the draft process. Every interview, he knew that people weren't looking at him as a day one starter in the NFL. People were looking at him as a prospect, a developmental piece. So I think the speech he's now giving on the podium in the news conferences is the same narrative he's been having to spin in the draft process in order to get drafted by someone.
I love this from Stuart. It's just written in. He sounds like Russ, only authentic, without all the corniness. Yes, and I'm here for a couple more of your comments that have come in about him. So Rich, he'll be okay sitting for a year and learning behind Darnold and Locke. He'll get his head down and improve 100%. Rockman Drums, he learned valuable lessons 100%. Another one from Rich as well. He kept coming back each play and didn't crumble.
Yeah, I like the comment about Locke and Darnold as well, because that's two quarterbacks that had a really rough start to their career in the NFL, being forced to start when they weren't quite ready, or starting for dumpster fire organizations and playing like hot garbage, which we always say, happens far too often. But the two guys that are now QB1 and QB2 on our roster have suffered what Milroe might have suffered if someone had drafted him and forced him to start. So he's got a great example to learn from.
Yeah, 100%. So that was your number 2. I will go to my number 2 in Jared Ivey, who I think has shown exactly what he can offer this team now. I think there's going to be some serious conversations happening around Jared Ivey or Mike Morris. Who can offer you more? Who can develop better? And who can you keep on your 53-man roster, develop him and have him come in for a few series and just see what he can do to disrupt? And I'm on the Jared Ivey hype train now after this preseason.
Yeah, me too. I always found him a really intriguing prospect. He was productive in college. He has a lot of the technical ability that you want him to have, minus all the athleticism. But newsflash, with all of the disguise and stunts that we'll pull up front, there will be slam dunk opportunities for less athletic D linemen, because they won't need to win as often with athleticism and physicality, because the confusion and the chaos will give you the opportunity to get into the backfield and impose yourself. So it's a good scheme for him to win a roster spot and actually play in and get weaved into rotation.
Yeah, 100%. And who was your number 2, 3?
My number 3, Cody White. So I won't dwell on this one because I've already made my point about Cody White being that off-season darling every year for us, that trots out on the practice field and does his bit, gets into the 3 preseason games, shows us all what he can do, and then narrowly misses out and goes to the practice squad. I see it very much being the same situation this year. But you absolutely have to love it. It's almost like you get to pre-season, and it's like Michael Bublé coming out of his cave. The stone gets rolled back, and it's like, right, Bublé, come out, give us a few tunes. Like pre-season comes, Cody White out your tomb, come catch some balls for a third string quarterback, and then we'll put you away again for 12 months. He comes out, he's consistent, he does it. We love to see it. We all cheer his name. And then he gets put back in his box. But I think he's got a better opportunity. I think if we'd have been playing a scheme that needed 6 wide receivers rather than 5, he might have made it this year.
Yeah.
I think he's a victim of the new system this year, potentially. But yeah, we'll see.
Because just this one from Stuart, Bublé screens.
Bublé screens.
That is top tier dad joking. That I've got a lot of time for that. My number 3. Oh, that was brilliant. My number 3. I've spoken to about the top of the pod. Ty Okada again. He's just one of those. Pre-season comes out, absolutely smashes it. You can elevate him from the practice squad to the main roster, and you know he's not going to embarrass himself or the organisation. And when it comes to this 53-man roster that we've got to do, we'll be using the German Seahawks as roster builder for this.
Mm-hmm.
I am really going to be hovering over him when we go through all the ones that are nailed on. Then we'll look at the bubble at the end. I will have to fight his case, but I don't know how well it's going to work. So there you go. There's our winners, losers. Good. Now, I said at the top of this that Jalen Milroe goes in both the winners and the losers column, and he's not in the losers column because of what we previously said. He's in the losers column because of the play calling, because he was trying to do as much as he could do behind a third string offensive line, which doesn't shine the best light on him at all. But it also accentuated what he was really good at, which was trying to escape pressure, just elongate plays, use his legs. So it was one of those like double-edged sword. You know, he was a winner, but he was a loser, unfortunately, due to the fact that he has so much promise and such high expectations from the Seahawks fan base. But then we had to see that, which is not who he is.
Yeah. It's extenuating circumstances for which I'm happy to forgive him for. But that will probably be, barring an absolute catastrophe with injuries, the last time we see him starting a Seahawks football game until this time next year. So put that one away in a box. It's a bit of teaching tape for him. Back to the training grounds and be a good teammate until you get your next opportunity. Quite simple, 100%. Really. Listen to the coaches, do your bit.
That's it. Our loser number 2, this was Mitch's pick, Jerrick Reed. Second week he's been on this losers list. Go on, Mitch.
Same reason. He's just not in a competitive room with a fan base that really like him and want him to make this 53-man roster. Jerrick Reed just hasn't seen the field enough or had enough eye-catching moments or done enough things for me to really state a case to make this roster. Making him a loser on the night for me. I just no one thing he did wrong, no one thing that stood out, or he hasn't had a bad night. He's just had a bad preseason, and this game did not provide him the opportunity to really stick his hand up and say, "I'm ready for this." Mm-hmm. He was just absent. Whether that's him not getting out there for enough snaps, or whether the ball just didn't go his direction, he did not make the impact he needed to.
No, agreed. And then number 3, this was your shout out, Alfonso Tupatala.
Yep. And he's a loser for me just in the fact that he played quite well, got himself half a sack. I think it was the other half of Jared Ivey's half a sack, wasn't it? Yeah. Where Jared Ivey hit the quarterback, rocked him, and then Tupatala just came in and tidied up and took the sack. Had a decent game. However, the next day he's been cut, or the day after, 2 days later he's cut. So a loser in the respect that whilst he had a good night, he has already been cut. So
Yeah, practice squad candidate, 100%. I mean,
would agree.
Yeah, Smig Marler said practice squad candidate, and yeah, I think he's going to be one of those that they'll probably look at that performance and think there's tape there that we can really start to work with.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd love to see him in there. Like I said, I love me some Pacific Island flavour on the Seahawks team. If he's rocking a Polynesian tattoo, get him in that squad. But yeah, I think he was unlucky. I mean, when you look at these second, third string linebackers, you had Patrick O'Connell, Connor O'Toole, who just play on the edge as well. And you've got Tupatala, Drake Thomas as well. They all hovered around that 6-7 total tackle mark. And Tupatala was the only one who got near the quarterback.
Mm-hmm. There's enough there. But the decision's already been made about him not making the roster, and he covers a position that we're most thin in.
Yeah, 100%.
That's got to happen.
Yeah, it does. The thing is, though, when you're an undrafted free agent rookie, you can come in, if you can make an impression like that, and then they can start looking at you for a practice squad to develop. That's what we can hope for, really.
Yep.
So yeah, there you go. That is our breakdown. Thank you so much to everyone who's been commenting. We really do appreciate it. If you don't know, we are the UK Seahawks official podcast. We're still very proud to be the UK Seahawks official podcast. If you want to become a UK Seahawker, you can. It is £12 for an individual membership or £20 for a family membership up to 4 people in the same household. If you live outside the UK, it's £5 postage. You can pay via PayPal at ukhawksfans12@hotmail.com and use a friends and family option because it's not a business. And with that, you will get your stash, which I'll show you in the next bit. You get access to social events. You get 10% discount at the pro shop. You're eligible for game day field passes as well. And I know our friend Andy's just been out there and he has utilised that as well. And when I tell you all about the goodies we get this year, 2 coasters, our wristband, you get your 21-year anniversary patch and your membership card, all neatly displayed on Mitch's fabulous box. There you go. Mitch,
also on his Swede.
On
his Swede on the hat.
Yeah. And you can join some of these beautiful folk here. This is a small contingent of the UK Seahawkers when we all met up in Glasgow for our annual meetup, and it was a heck of a time. We got some fantastic interviews from people. We met some brilliant folks as well there, and we cannot wait for the next one. So by all means, feel free to join. The link for the Facebook group and everything is in the description down below too. All right, with that, Mitch, shall we have a look at a roster builder?
Yeah,
let's do it. So what I'm going to need to do very quickly is just stop that one, and then bear with whilst I'm just doing the additions. Here we go. Right. So we have used this before. This is the German Seahawkers roster builder. It is a fantastic bit of kit. You can just, if you search roster builder German Seahawkers, it'll bring you to this. Don't worry, it is in English as well, and it is updated. Gives you all of the team, all the members that you need on there. You just so it's always a comment about Mitch's box, and we're going to use that just to go through what we think could be this 53-man roster. We want to get it as accurate as possible. So the same as we did on previous pods, Mitch, shall we start with the guaranteed starters?
Yep.
Backups, and then we'll get to those on the bubble.
Yep.
Okay. So on offense, guaranteed to be in this team. Okay. So rather than starters with the guarantees, it's going to be Darnold, Locke, Milroe in that QB room.
Yep.
Okay. Wide receiver, JSN, Cup. And do you know what? Based on preseason, they're the only 2 wide receivers I can see nailed on. Unless there's someone else you think, Mitch.
Torrey Horton.
Oh, Torrey Horton. There you go. Who is there? Yeah. and then
Yeah.
the rest.
Otherwise, I agree. Yeah. We've got two players to pick in that wide receiver room from about 4 that are on the bubble, in my opinion.
Yeah. And then if we're looking at the running backs on this, you do have fullbacks there as well. We've got K9 and Charbonnet 100%.
And Oots, I would say.
And Oots. Yeah. I think the rest we'll get to when it comes to backups or bubble. Tight end, Barner, Arroyo. I want to say Stillbert's going to be in there.
I believe he will be.
Yeah.
We both think he will be. I think we can do that.
Yeah. And then we go to O-line. So starting O-line, Cross, Zabel, Sundell.
Yes.
Sundell, and then Anthony Bradford, Abe Lucas.
Yeah, I feel more confident this week about Anthony Bradford than I did 2 or 3 weeks ago. I think he's now a lock.
Yeah. Well, there we go. So starters are there. Next, onto defense. Linebackers. Ernest Jones, Tyrese Knight, but may start on PUP IR, depending. We don't know what's happening. Well, we don't know what's happening.
There's a lack of information. I think we have to assume he's okay, but that is risky. I think we put them both in, genuinely.
Yeah. And then we're looking at Boye, Derek Hall, Chenna.
Yeah.
And then the rest will be wait and see.
Yeah.
Cornerbacks, Witherspoon.
Spoon, Reek, and Griffin, I think, and Job.
Yeah.
That much, I think, is locked. After that, we'll have one more in there, I think. Yeah. And it won't be Tyler Hall.
His name is now Mud in Seattle. Safety room, and this is where, so Love, Bryant, the starters, Nick Evanwari, and then yeah, we'll get back to that. And D-line, what a wealth. Big Cat, Byron Murphy, Jaron Reed, and then Lawrence. Yeah.
Now, Jonas is going to love me for this. Brandon Peely, I think he's done enough to be the starting nose.
Yeah.
Genuinely.
Especially if you don't know what's happening with Hankins. So, I'm happy with that. Then let's nip over to special teams quickly. We know it's going to be Myers at kicker. Punter is going to be Dixon. And long snapper, Chris Stoll. Hopefully he will be fit to do it. Mm-hmm. Which that leaves us at 37 now.
Yeah.
So let's go back to the wide receiver room. And let's have that MVS chat. Is MVS making this roster? Or is he a release or trade candidate?
For me, no.
I agree. I don't see his value apart from field stretching.
But who makes it in his place is the question. Is it Bobo and Ricky White because we laid down a draft pick? Or is it...
No.
I certainly think it's Jake Bobo locked in, first of all. I don't know if we agree on that.
Yeah.
Do we agree there? Yeah. So for me, it's Cody White, Derek Young, or Marcus Valdez-Scantling.
I want to say it's Derek Young.
I want to say it's Derek Young as well, but
he offers more.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. And he, as we've said since last season and before on a previous pod, he's DK from Wish. He's got the size, he's got the speed, he offers that flexibility as a gunner as well. You know, they've tried him at fullback. Imagine him on a jet sweep with just that bulk. I think it'd have to be him. I don't think Steve Sims stands a chance. Cody White's going to be unlucky. He'll go back to the practice squad. Ricky White, they'll put on the practice squad. And then...
Well, everyone get in the comments and tell us. Richard said Young. And Stuart said that it would be Young in that room. Tell us what you think. Help us pick that last spot for the wide receiver room.
We'll leave that one for now. I'm going to put my glasses on so I can see all these properly. Yeah. Right. So go back to the running back room. So this is where out and out running backs, we've only got K9 and Charbonnet. George Halani.
Halani makes it. And then it's
Yeah.
a question of, do we carry 3 or 4? And if we don't carry 4, Jacardia Wright hopefully goes back onto the practice squad, or Damian Martinez.
I think Martinez is going to be practice squad. We'll go back to that because they're two definitely on the bubble. Tight end, there's no need for that again.
Yeah.
O-line. So I think Josh Jones is going to be our swing tackle.
Correct.
I think Olu is going to be in there as a backup centre.
Correct.
Christian Haynes currently out with a pectoral issue. Mike Jarrell, I still think, is far too raw. Cabaldou.
Definitely on the bubble, but not for any wrongdoing, really.
No. Mason Richmond, I think he offers just versatility. They played him at centre.
Yeah.
In the Green Bay game.
He's played every spot, hasn't he, in pre-season?
Yeah.
God, it's hard to pick here, isn't it?
Should we go back to that? I think Lamea might be the unfortunate one here.
I think you can lock in Jarrell. I think Jarrell's probably not going to be risked for the practice squad.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
8 defensive linemen.
Yeah.
Right. We'll come back to them because we're on 42 now. So back to linebacker, and this is going to be where things start getting interesting because Josh Ross, familiarity with McDonald, who obviously likes him, performed well in pre-season. Did he perform well enough? Drake Thomas has been with us now for 3 years. I think he's played well in pre-season. You know, he's not made any glaring issues or had any glaring issues.
For me, Drake Thomas makes this roster.
Mm-hmm.
I think he just does. It's a thin room, and there's familiarity there, and he's had a decent off-season. But barring us making a trade or picking up someone else's linebacker that gets cut, I think he makes this roster.
Okay. And I think the rest are bubble contenders, aren't they?
Mm-hmm.
Jared Ivey's there, but again, I think we'll have to go back to that one. Cornerback room. So we've currently got Weatherspoon, Reek, Griffin, and Job. I think Nehemiah Pritchett has probably showed enough.
Yeah, I would say so.
This, which means we'll carry 5 cornerbacks.
Yep.
Enough. And in a pinch, you move Brian to cornerback if needs be. Now safety, I'm going up to bat for my boy Tyre Carter because I think DeAnthony Bell hasn't played well enough. He offers a lot of versatility with special teams and he can be a hammer. I just don't think he's shown up enough against second and third stringers in pre-season. Jerick Reed, I think we're both in agreement that he's not making this. This will be his last year on his rookie deal, so I believe he's still practice squad eligible. AJ Finley, no.
Yeah.
Now, I'm of the mind that we come back to them and see who else we need. Because I think
we'll come back and make the decision between Bell and Okada, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Then D-line. So they've still got Mike Morris there.
I think Quentin Bahana makes this roster.
Yeah. Now,
at the cost of Jonathan Hankins.
Yeah, I think Riley Mills, he's going to start on PUP, isn't he?
Correct.
Yeah. I see him getting in, but for the sake of the opening 53, does that then mean that they have Mike Morris in there playing sort of that big end role until Riley Mills comes in? Right. There we go. Which leaves us with, oh my God, is that 7 spots left?
Yeah, can do quite a lot with that.
We can, which means back to the offense. So wide receivers currently 4. Now, what was the general consensus here?
Did anybody else pitch in?
So we had Stewart with Bobo, Young, Horton. Gary with Cody White. Richard with Young. Stewart, please may there be a trade partner for MVS. Gary, Young could be, but so far has been inconsistent. And then Jonas, forever the fence sitter, Young or White. Stewart, Young is an enigma. He's always had the talent and has almost never thrown to. Yeah,
I think it's Tariq Young.
I think it is. I'm going to make that call. That's it. We're going to put a stamp on that. So carrying 5 wide receivers and then running back.
I think we put Brady Russell in here as that flex tight end fullback cover. I think we can take
still is with 5 roster spots, which means with how run heavy we're going to be, do you think we're only going to carry 3 running backs?
I think that's definitely likely to be the way. I think it's likely to be the way. I mean, maybe we can let's put Jacardia right in, and perhaps if we end up with like 54, 55, we come back to this conversation. Because if
4 spots.
Yeah, well, maybe we can pull it off. I do think that Damian Martinez loses a spot to Jacardia right if they do carry 4 there.
The only thing I could say about Martinez is that obviously he was a draft pick. They liked what they saw in college, but he was 7th round. So they're not going to be too precious about keeping him because, in my opinion, 7th round UDFA, might as well just toss both balls up. They're the same, in my opinion. One was lucky enough to get more stuff on tape. Right, and then the O-line. So currently we're carrying 8. Cross, Zabel, Sundell, Bradford, Lucas, Jones, the swing tackle, Oluwatimi, and Jarrell, which means we need guards.
Yeah, I think Haynes goes in.
Yeah, do you think?
I don't think he starts on pup, so yes.
I think Richmond. Yeah,
I think Richmond too as well. There's versatility there that I think they'll value.
Yeah, so that's us carrying 10 O-line. Nice. So linebackers. So we've got 2 spots left. So I think
time to make Ivy a rosterman.
Yeah, pop Ivy in there. Safety or D-line. Like Riley Mills will go straight in for Mike Morris when he's fit. Is this the safety spot?
Is this spot 53?
This is spot 53.
Well, it all comes down to this. And I'm going to say something that I hate. I think this is DeAnthony Bell.
Do you know, as much as I want Ty Okada to be on this roster, when common sense takes over, I think you're right. I think they've brought him in for a reason. They brought him in to be that hammer. He's a core special teamer. You can pop him in there if an injury happens to someone else and you're not going to lose too much. I could see it being Bell with Okada going back to the practice squad and being pulled up as and when.
Agree.
We're going for Anthony Bell.
Yep.
There we go. So that's our 53. And here it is. So, should I go through it quickly? So, sure. Carrying three quarterbacks is Darnold, Locke, and Milroe. Running backs is also includes your fullbacks. So, running back, we've got Ken Walker, Charbonnet, Halani, and Jacardia Wright. And then fullbacks / flex tight ends, you've got Oots and Brady Russell. 5 wide receivers in JSN, Cooper Kupp, Torrey Horton, Jake Bobo, and Tariq Young. 3 tight ends in Barner, Arroyo, and Sorbert. 10 O-linemen in Charles Cross, Gray Zabel, Jalen Sundell, Anthony Bradford, Abe Lucas, Josh Jones, Oluwatimi, Mike Jarrell, Christian Haynes, and Mason Richmond. Defense with our 7 linebackers in Ernest Jones, Tyrese Knight, Boyd Mafe, Derek Hall, Chenna, Drake Thomas, and Jared Ivey making this roster. Cornerback, we're carrying 5 in Spoon, Reek, Shaq Griffin, Josh Jobe, and Nehemiah Pritchett. 4 safeties. I'm going to caveat that by saying 1 is a special teamer. In Julian Love, Kobe Bryant, Nick Amawari, and DeAnthony Bell. 7 D linemen in Big Cat, Byron Murphy, Jaron Reed, and we've got DeMarcus Lawrence, Brandon Peely, Quentin Bohanna, and Mike Morris. And then your special teamers: kicker, Jason Myers; punter, Michael Big Dixon Energy; and then long snapper is Chris Stoll.
Bosh.
I will save that and I'll publish it to our social medias, and then you can all, by all means, rip that apart and we will see how that goes. But we have got 1 or 2 final parts of this pod, which, because we are a podcast by 12s, for 12s, with 12s, we like to include as many as possible. Now, if you're in the Discord, you'll know about this. I ask for your questions every single week, and we're very fortunate that you guys bring some fantastic ones. So let's get this up. And bosh. It is our Discord member musings. We had some good ones this week. Starting off with Amy. Thoughts about having Janoko call a game. That was clearly an important one for Milroe. We broached it earlier. My opinion as a coach is it was used as a way to get them both experience. Janoko was a QB coach working with his QB. You'd hope he'd scheme things better. But it's the 3rd game of pre-season. Get them the experience they need. Milroe got 4 quarters. Janoko got to call the game for 4 quarters, and he now knows what does and doesn't work, hopefully. Yeah. And that one obviously got my my Buddy Christ emoji, because I love that one. But then, whilst I was going through X earlier, I found this tweet from Michael Guret, who has come out of nowhere. He's not got many followers, but he commented on Greg Bell's X, saying the Seahawks didn't put Milroe behind O-line number 3 to win a game. They did it to see if he would break. He didn't. That's the real story. If Darnold had played a full game behind O-line 3, would he have survived mentally? Milroe made mistakes, but he never cracked. That matters. And that is a fantastic tweet there. And it was one of those where he's obviously formulated it very well, and he'd sent it to a lot of people. So he genuinely believes that, and I, hand on heart, can say I believe that too.
Yeah,
Richard, in our comments as well, did any player featuring close to the cut line who featured versus Green Bay change your mind from Saturday's game? I had 2.
Good question. Yeah.
And they made it onto our 53. So Cody White, honourable mention, Jared Ivey, and Mason Richmond. I think that positional versatility from Richmond is going to serve him well in this league, and Jared Ivey, I just think, has been outstanding.
Yeah,
all pre-season. Any for you, Mitch?
No, I agree with those 3. I think Jared Ivey's the one that really nailed it home. I will be shocked if he's not named on the roster at this point. So yeah, big shout out for Jared Ivey. I think he did exceptionally well. It's this off season.
Lovely. And then we have Crafty Carver, Adam from Let's Talk Seahawks. Surprise cut candidates. Is there a player from another squad who you've been tracking and think the Hawks might take a look at if they're cut? The biggest surprise cut is just MVS, isn't it? Like, it's not even going to be a surprise at this rate. But I am also going to put in there Satawa Lamea. He hasn't looked a patch on what he was last year.
I definitely think there are some drafted players from this class and last year's class that may end up losing out to just really to UDFAs that have been outstanding. Players like Ivy, Jacardia Wright, Halani, players like that are making serious cases to make the roster, and that something has to give. and some of last year's, draft picks and this year's may end up being, cut. So I think that is a surprise to some, but not to me.
The player that's a potential cut candidate from another team that I like the look of was Nick Jackson, linebacker at the Bucks. So he's a Hawkeye. This preseason, he has 15 total tackles, 14 solo, 2 sacks, 1 interception, 1 pass defense, and 2 run stuffs. Now, knowing Mike Mack loves a linebacker, he could look at those stats and look at that player and go, I could work with you at the practice squad. That'd be my only one. I wouldn't sign into the 53, but if we can get him in our practice squad to work with someone like Mike Mack, that's someone I'd like to see develop.
I still think Nakobe Dean at the Eagles could be struggling. He's had which knee injury was it? It wasn't meniscus, was it? It was it patella?
Patella tendon.
Trying to remember which injury it was, but it's the longest one. It's the one that they usually say is 12 months, not ACL.
MCL.
I think it was. I think it's maybe. I can't remember. Forgive me not knowing which knee injury it was, but he is back and doing ballet and hasn't yet been removed from the pup, but likely to be ready to play. Problem is, they've been drafting linebackers in his absence since his injury. They've invested some decent draft capital. He may not have a starting linebacker spot to return to, or edge role to return to. So anyone who is light there at linebacker or wants some edge linebacker versatility could well pick him up, or he may not make the roster. So we will see.
I like it. And then the last one from the Rude. How have the play design and play calling, obviously limited for preseason reasons, shaped your perception of the potential 2025 fantasy value of the Seahawks skill players? Any top tier fantasy performers hidden on this squad? What a question.
Yeah. I have tried to draft JSN in fantasy this year, successfully in some and unsuccessfully in others. And actually, having looked at how we've spread the ball round to running backs, to tight ends, to fullbacks, and to wide receivers, I might have made a bit of a mistake. I think you'll see JSN get 25% less targets this year. Whether or not he gets 25% more production and touchdowns because of the scheme is another thing. But certainly in terms of his involvement through touches of the ball, I think we're going to see less. So a bit late for me to listen to my own advice on that one, but think twice about JSN for that reason.
I have, knowing how Kubiak likes to run the rock and he has a penchant for using his tight ends. For me, if you can, because I think it's going to be a timeshare deal, I think it's going to be, if you're looking at yardage, you're in a league where that really matters, which most of us all do. I think K9 should have an outstanding year, but I think touchdowns, when it's close to in the red zone, I think it's going to be a Charbonnet show, who, as I said last season, is fantastic at just running through the gaps, especially the A and B gap. But then I also think Arroyo could be a little hidden gem that, unless you're a Seahawks fan, people might not draft him. So you might be able to get him a bit later on, and he might pull some decent numbers in for you. That's my personal opinion.
Good insight.
Defensively, if you get the chance for that, I think Big Cat could still be on for a big season, and Derek Hall, because if he carries on his upwards trajectory where it comes to his development and his pass rush, he could be on for another big season as well, especially when you've got someone like DeMarcus Lawrence playing across from you.
Can't wait to see Marcus Lawrence in our team this year.
Oh man, I know. It's going to be amazing. But they were our Discord member musings for the week, which was, it's always nice to have the interaction with you guys in the Discord. We absolutely love it. And when you guys bring your questions in, you'll get your preferential treatment, so to speak. But then, Mitch, you starred some comments here as well, didn't we? So
earlier
let's
on
go
we did.
through.
Yep, indeed.
There we go. So let's go through some of them.
So let's pull this one up. So Jonas here reminding us that Luke Felix Falafel and Alfonso Suputala. I do feel like we may have preferentially cut players that Mike Mack may have struggled to pronounce first this year. I think there was an absolute premium on syllables this year amongst the coaching staff, and some of our Islanders have missed out on that basis. But yes, those are the first two cuts, and thank you for bringing that.
But not Brandon Peely.
No, because Peely is 2 syllables.
And also, he was born in Alaska, wasn't he?
There you go.
And
we've cracked it. We've cracked the code. You heard it here first. Yeah. Too many syllables. You're not me. Marquez Valdez Scantling taking the absolute Michael with those syllables.
It's a hyphenated name.
Yeah, never going to make it. Get out. Next one, Max. Who was the best special teams in the league? Who has the best special teams in the league? This is interesting. Don't the Eagles have a really good special teams unit? Pretty sure they do. Apparently that wins you a Super Bowl.
Yeah, but you also you look at the depth they've got throughout their roster. They have got linebackers.
The way they've drafted.
Yeah. They've got players that could start for other teams, and they just put them in special teams. Just get some reps, and it's like, yeah, go and do your thing. We know you're highly drafted, but we've got someone in your spot anyway, so off you go.
Next one we've got. Let's uninstall that just so I don't put it up again. Next, Cody White should make the team. Yeah, that's been the consensus in the comments most of the evening. We got here. The kicking and punting game is awesome, but coverage on returns is horrific. We touched on this, didn't we, with lane discipline, players trying to make a name for themselves, trying to take the glory on gunning, etc., and not maintaining lane discipline and getting ripped to bits. I don't see that that's changed massively, but I think once the first teamers get in there and they just want to get out there, do their job, and then get back on the sideline and get ready to play their snaps as a starter or as a second stringer, I think that attitude changes. Doesn't change the fact that Jay Harbaugh needs to run his ship better. Allowing egos in pre-season, I don't see the benefit, but just me. Let's get rid of it. And we've got another one here. Oh, this is a good one. Hot take from Jonas. Is it possible that the last 4 picks of the 2025 Seahawks draft class, Cabledew, Rickman, Martinez, and Wright III, will all be released? And what does that say about the depth of Seattle's roster? Or what does it say about the draft that we've just had? For me, I think it was an exceptionally good draft, but it comes off the back of 3 or 4 very good deep drafts that we've had, and it has now become very competitive in the second and third string unit, to the extent that we actually played most of that game with 4th or 5th stringers because we didn't need to see much from the second or third string.
I think you've got, when you look at those 4 picks there, I mean, we've obviously put Richmond in the team. He will be going to that team. I think based on the tape that they put on pre-season, I think Cabledew has been, I think there was a comment earlier, might have been from Jonas, he's been a revolving door. So any other team that looks at him and has seen what he does in an NFL jersey might think twice about bringing him into their roster. Martinez, unless a coach was so in love with his college tape, if he goes to practice squad and knowing the absolute wealth of running backs in this league with experience, he might be able to contact practice squad and stay there. And Ricky White III, he had the injury, he's come in, he's not been featured very much. Again, he could be a special teams ace, but it's not enough for him to be in this squad, and he could be practice squad as well. Yeah, it all matters. It all depends if they clear waivers, and if they don't, we're good.
Fair enough. So we've also got, do the Seahawks have the best quarterback room in the league? Darnold as the starter, Locke as the startable backup, and Milroe as a raw possible franchise-altering talent. Yeah, we touch all three things there, don't we? In it to a high level, we've got a really high ceiling backup that's the future of the franchise. We've got a quarterback who performed at a very high level last year and is a veteran in this league on a good deal. And we've got Locke, who has started 40, 50 NFL games and won a difficult game for us himself in recent history. So
yeah,
it's hard to think of a better.
He was a starter at New York last year as well, wasn't he? For a short amount of time. So.
Well, at least we're not the Browns, and we're rostering 6 quarterbacks, and doing it by committee.
Can't wait to go and watch them in London.
Horrendous situation, yeah. Let's get rid of it. The one caveat with Milroe is patience. So far, the coaching staff have been great on providing that, and it gives him the chance to develop. Yeah, I think we need to maintain that. I think the fans, wanting to see Milroe start NFL games, that will eventually happen, especially if Darnold doesn't quite cut it. It won't be Locke that people are stomping their feet for. It will be Milroe, and I think that would be a huge mistake. So, yeah, I agree.
And just remember, not every rookie QB is going to come in and play like first overall pick, or you have an anomaly like Russ was when he first came in and won that starting job. They take time. It is the most important position in sport. And if you thrust them in there and break them in one season, that is a wasted investment. And when you look at someone with the raw talents that he has, have patience. The Seahawks, obviously, we're all champing at the bit to see him play behind that starting O-line and see what he can do with his special talents. But I'd rather wait and see when he's a bit more refined.
I agree. And Trey Hendrickson will be a Bengal next year. He's just been extended. Be very interesting to see what the terms of that deal were, because I think we're looking at $35 million a season plus for a 30-year-old player.
Their cap management is awful. It's so bad. So now they basically pay, was it near enough, probably over half their cap to Burrow, Chase, Trey Higgins, and Hendrickson.
Yeah. Jay, the news was from Pedicero. Just Tom Pedicero and Ian Rappaport 1 minute ago on the NFL website. So there is your source.
And then the one last one that came through just then from Gary. Parsons will be next.
You think staying as well, Gary, at the Cowboys? I see it as the most. I see it as 9 out of 10 times. That's the way this shakes out. I do think there are some stupid people, some stupidly run franchises that will just bend over backwards to pay someone and just have 1 star on their D-line, but yeah, we'll see.
I think Jerry Jones is as old, senile, and mental as he is, would have to be committed to not pay his star defensive player. But yeah, well, I just want to say a massive thank you. I mean, you guys have been awesome tonight. We love having interaction with you guys. That's what this pod's all about. We would like anyone who's watching, you may be a first timer, by all means, you can like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, like this video, hit the little like thing there. It's a little click for you. It's massive for us when it comes to the algorithm and helps us reach more 12s across the world, of which we're hoping to be interviewing and speaking to throughout the season. You can also join our Discord to be talking. No, that way. Damn it. One day I'm going to get it right. You can join our Discord for free. You'll be talking to 12s throughout the season, and we are from everywhere. Obviously, the UK Seahawkers, we've got German Seahawkers, we've got Bryce is in there as well, obviously from Hawk's Eye. You've got people like Adam, who's from Let's Talk Seahawks. It's just a really good community that's building there, and we do our live watch parties as well during the games, and you can come and join us. And finally, big shout out to our sponsor. If you do want to try Flying V, Vintage Sports Clothing, get a t-shirt like Mitch is wearing there, which I'm desperately need to order. And then if you want to buy anything else, by all means use our code 12talk at checkout and you get 20% off your order. 20%. 20, 20. None of this 10% rubbish, 20%. All ways that you can help support the pod are in the description below. You can buy us a coffee or pizza, whatever the thing is on there. That really helps us out. It allows us to bring you all of the graphics and everything as well. But I have really enjoyed this. We're hopefully going to be coming back very soon. We need to have a chat with Bryce about the Hawks Eye and see what we get going there, Mitch. And from Mitch, I think it's time that we end this with a Go Hawks. Do you agree, Mitch?
Yeah, I do.
On 3. 1.
Go Hawks.
Go Hawks. Mate, you did that on purpose. So